look up. The view in America right now, a once-in-a-lifetime moment as it heads. Now, millions of people across Central and North America are awaiting the arrival, beginning in less than an hour, of that rarest of all celestial events, a total eclipse of the sun. That is when the path of the moon crosses in front of the sun, obscuring it completely, except for a halo of light around the rim. Tonight, the eclipse's so-called path of totality, when day briefly becomes night, hits Dallas, Texas at 1:40 p.m. local time. That's 7:40 p.m. here. It then travels northeast and through New York State before reaching Niagara Falls at just after 3:20 local time. That is 20 past 8 here. Well, the process is just beginning in many places. This is what can be seen live in Mazatlan in Mexico. And our correspondent Dan Rivers is in Indianapolis, where crowds are gathering to witness this once-in-a-lifetime event. Dan.
Thanks, Lucretia. Yeah, we are really just seconds away from the partial eclipse starting here. We'll have to wait a little bit longer for the full effect of totality, but 50,000 people have crowded into the Indianapolis Speedway, this racetrack. We've had the race cars going around, keeping the crowd entertained as they wait for this incredible phenomenon as the moon goes in front of the sun.
This was where the moon's shadow first came into contact with a continent. The celestial alignment first visible in Mazatlan, Mexico, as crowds waited for totality. In Dallas, predicted storms were causing a scramble of changed plans on the roads as people headed north. At the biggest sports venue in the world in the Midwest, they can cope with more than 250,000 people. The stands of the Indianapolis Speedway were packed for lunar, not pole position. Here many had camped out last night to bag their spot for a show which promises to be out of this world.
Oh, we're all excited. We're ready to be there. We're ready for this. I've been planning this for months. We were to go to Texas, and then my wife got pregnant, and then now we're here.
I am thrilled to death. I'm 62, and this is going to be the highlight of my life.
Dale and Janet Peppert had driven 11 hours for a once-in-a-generation opportunity.
I don't know what to expect. That's why I want to be here. Our friends told us if we miss this one, we're not going to live to see the next in 2044.
And this is nice because it has a auto assist to show me that I get everything in focus.
Josh and Melissa Manza are wedding photographers who've turned their cameras on a very different union of sun and moon.
It's incredible. It goes dark for a moment, it gets a little bit cold, and then you just see the burst of light back through the other side. So it's really beautiful.
The best conditions are likely to be up in New England. This morning word had got out and queues were building.
Okay, but put them on first. Got it?
But everyone in the United States will experience at least a partial eclipse.
You see it?
Even if only a select few will witness the full spectacle of totality.
Well, it has just begun here. I think we've got a live shot of the moon just beginning to inch over the sun here in Indianapolis. So you can't really perceive it yet, but that effect of the light being blocked out will get greater and greater, and then in just over an hour we will be plunged into darkness for what we hope will be quite an incredible effect, as long as the sky stays clear. Back to you.
Let's hope so. Dan, Indianapolis, thank you. And a partial eclipse will be visible, weather permitting, here in parts of the UK. There is a guide to where that is on the website, itv.com/news. But that's all from us for now. Raggy is back with news at 10. But we leave you now with live shots from the US as the moon moves across the sun, with a total eclipse only moments away. But from all of us, bye-bye.
As you say, Will, truly a once-in-a-lifetime experience for so many of us. Great to talk to you, Will Grant, there in Mexico. Mexico just about 10 minutes out now from totality. And as we await that moment, we can cross back over to our science correspondent, Palab Ghosh, who is watching it all with me. Palab, just talking about the science, I mean, not necessarily cosmic coincidences here, but just in terms of how eclipses work, is the case when it comes to solar eclipses, isn't it, that in fact the moon is 400 times smaller than the Earth, but because it's 400 times closer to us, it all neatly lines up and we get that moment of eclipse.
Cosmic coincidence is exactly the right word. It's uncanny. If the moon was any smaller, the light would pass past it and we wouldn't see the atmosphere. If it was any larger, we wouldn't be able to see the atmosphere. So it's an incredible coincidence that we can see it. And those whoops and cheers we heard in Mexico are speeding, literally at the speed of sound, across the continent of North America, headed on its way to Texas, where there'll be more whoops and cheers, almost like a Mexican wave, for want of a better word. And that experience will be spread all across the whole of the continental of North America, something very much to look forward to. And for those who can't experience the totality, someone said to me that a partial eclipse is interesting. You can watch the sun having a bite taken out of it through solar eclipse glasses, I hasten to add. But seeing even if 1% of the sun's light gets through, you can't see the corona. Someone said to me that it's a bit like going to a football match but not going in to see the game. What the game is that beautiful corona, and it, as you said earlier, described it so beautifully, it is a transcendent experience. It is like being in a waking dream, and once that moment of totality has passed, you're still feeling quite in an incredible high, which lasts with you for hours, if not days.
And just talking about that high and what scientists will be looking at, they'll also be studying human behaviour, won't there? There's a lot that's unknown. I read one study that in 2017, here in the United States, taking a look at data from X, for example, Twitter, at the time, it found that people who were in the path of totality were more likely to use the pronoun we as opposed to I and express for concern for others around them. You know, it's interesting, all of these unknowns with regards to the eclipse.
Well, there is something innate about eclipses because they have gone on for as long as there have been human beings. So just imagine what our ancestors thought when unexpectedly there was an eclipse. The light that they were used to had gone. So, and even now, when we know exactly what's going on, a switch flicks in your mind. You're in that dreamlike moment. And so you're different, perhaps in a higher state of mind, dare I say. And so there's a lot of psychological work that can be done if you want to, but far better just to see the experience, absorb it, and let it wash over you, and you haven't got long to go yourself to witness that.
Absolutely, Paleb. I'm looking to find the one person here in the United States who hadn't got the memo, hadn't heard the hype about the eclipse, didn't know it was happening, and wonders, like our ancestors, what on earth is happening right now. It is starting to get a little bit darker, I almost feel, like right here in Ohio. But let's take a look now at the pictures in Oklahoma as that eclipse starts to make its way across the United States.